Ooh, so the Josh Allen era is basically for naught. If See, now next year they can come in and they could have drafted the best defensive tackle available, got another defensive tackle, free agents to defensive tackle. They could go get. I mean, they have to change how they build defensive tackles. What kind of defensive ends are they containing the edge? Like they play the run like shit. They over pursue. They get washed out. Uh, they're like a front runner defense. Like if they're up on you, like yeah, it's hard to pass into their secondary, so on and so forth. The they can't fix it. The Bills season is over right now. Every game from now, you're just looking at the headstone. The Patriots buried them, and now you're looking at the headstone. They aren't a contender until they rebuild their team. Uh, and listen, I don't mind a quarterback that can scrambling and making a play, running downfield like out of the pocket or something to make a play. But when you're deliberately trying to run with your quarterback, you're just like drawing straws to like suck. Like one time you're going to draw the straw and your team's not going to be good for the rest of the year. Whether it's this year or next year, that's the little cup of straws that you're drawing out of. Like you're like, oh, you're pulling it out. You're just eventually going to reach into that hat and pull out a little thing that says, "Oh, you have to entirely rebuild your franchise now." And it's like, don't run with your quarterback. It's To me, it's very dumb. Micah Hyde and Poyer post game, they're getting asked if this is a problem that they ran for 46 times and only threw 3 times for 222 yards rushing. And they asked him if it was a problem for the team, and Hyde's like, no, honestly, I think we could play better. I think we can always play better. That's true, but the answer of no, is it a problem for the team, is also true. You know why? Because their problems are over. They're not a Super Bowl contender. They're not a threat for the Super Bowl. Uh, I mean, like it's like mom's dating a younger guy than you or something, and then he walks in and is like, "Hey, what's up? Daddy's home." I mean, like they didn't get Tom Brady. They had Cam Newton for a year. Now they have Mac Jones. I'm gonna say this because I'm not like now that I do these videos here and there, I'm not silently just going like, "Oh, the whole world thinks Peyton Manning's better than Tom Brady." I'm telling you the real truth right here. I hopefully will get better cameras, better mics, stuff like that. Get like a backdrop, get some graphics or whatever, But this is just kind of like for fun. And I don't hear people really say the things that I want to say about football. Those guys are embarrassed. Those guys trying to go up there together. We're gonna get interviewed together, and we're gonna be accountable for this. Like, is this embarrassing? Do you feel like the wheels have fallen off? Like, that's an honest question. That's the goddamn narrative on TV. That's the national narrative for the Bills right now. Is like you guys can't stop the run. Therefore, like shit, anyone can beat you if they can run the football. They only have to be halfway good at running the football and treat you like a little kid and say man's league, and you can't do shit about it. That should be embarrassing as fuck. That should be really fucking bad for you. Like I wouldn't have gone to the podium. I would have took I would have said next question. I would have said I'm only up here so I don't have to get fined. I don't like the coach. None of them. Josh Allen. Josh Allen's like, I feel like we're really in control of our own destiny right now. No, you're not. No, you're not. Every team that gets to the playoffs in the AFC that can run the football is in control of their own destiny if they're playing you. The coach, none of them know like it, or they can't say it. Like they have to know. Like anyone that's played football, you know when you're more prepared. You know when your team's tougher. You know when your team's smarter. You know when your team's more talented. You have more times than not, like even a dumbass team knows more or less where they stand. They just do. They just do. They just do. And they have to know that they clearly like whether you say they don't have the guards or they don't have the schematics or they didn't have the installation. They don't have it in their playbook or something. Like the Bills are not physical. Um, Listen, just on the eye test, I'm not going to break down their running backs, their interior offensive line, their tackles. I'm not going to break down their defensive tackles, middle linebackers, setting the edge, and all that stuff right now. This isn't film analysis. Like they get pushed around. They get pushed around everywhere. Like they get pushed around up the middle on offense. They get pushed around up the middle on defense. I mean, it's multiple levels. I mean, it's like it's complete systematic errors. They didn't lose a running back in Derrick Henry, and all of a sudden they can't really run the football, and then they're seeing the quarterback turn the ball over, and it was a hinge piece of one star player. Like schematically, systematically, philosophically, roster wise, cap allotment, all of it. They're not a tough football team. Like Josh Allen is shaving his face away from looking like a 10-year-old boy out there, and sometimes he plays like it. And he did that Conor McGregor like swing into like how he's running like Conor McGregor as he went into the end zone to celebrate his touchdown pass. Like if you're like you're either about to go for two or you're about to kick a field goal. A PAT, and they kick to the PAT, and it's like yeah, get excited. You just close the gap, but like New England plays with Christian Barmore, Godshaw, and Lawrence Guy, and then in the last 2 weeks, I've been noticing Davis 98, and then last night I'm like, who is 95? And I can't pronounce his name. I haven't heard his name enough, but like he had two or three, like really, not that he made the tackle, but he had two or three impactful plays while he was on the field last night. I was like, oh, New England's fourth and fifth, like DN slash defensive tackle, like 3-4 slash nose type guy. They have like five of them, and their fourth and fifth guy, like bullies, like teams like the Falcons and teams like the Bills, like their backups come on and push you around. Like Dante Hightower, Bentley, like I think it was Dawson Knox. He got mollywopped by Jawan Bentley and Hightower. Who Hightower? I gotta say, you can't have a horse tower. You can't have a horse collar at the sideline. You just can't do it. Like in the world of all the horse collars, isn't it really like he's gonna go to the house type of thing? Like, and honestly, I saw Van Noy, I believe the week before, grab from the horse collar, let go, fall, wrap up, and it wasn't a horse collar, and it was beautiful. And I would want to think in a New England film meeting, they made like a real note of how that was a good play, or maybe it wasn't so much a good play, and you were really, really, really close to making a bad play. But then again, if that were an emphasis, then here you are at the sideline when you can knock them out of bounds. The Bills aren't physical enough. Daddy's home. New England, the Boogeymen are back. Like I've seen this. Like we haven't seen a team do this since the 1970s. New England was doing that in 2019 for a large portion of their season until they became the Bills. In 2019, in my opinion, New England's ability to stop the run was noticed, and teams kind of did to what New England just did to the Bills in 2019. They started it. The 2019 Boogeymen is the story of like the greatest modern defense the NFL has ever seen, and then the wheels kind of fall off, and they don't do with it what they should have. They can stop the run. I just went over it. They have five guys up front that will beat the shit out of you. They have the two probably best thumping middle linebackers. Their safeties know how to hit you. Their corners, they have a taller corner and a shorter corner. They have several shorter corners. They all hit you. They all know how to square up. They all know how to put their hands on you correctly. They like even the play of the game at the very end of the game last night, Devin McCourty's blitzing like a strike of lightning uh, towards Josh Allen. But in the last 2 or 3 steps, he's getting himself under control. He's not going to rough Josh Allen there. He's not going to let Josh Allen run to the right. He's not going to let Josh Allen get roughed right there. He wanted to imply the pressure, and it looks like he took a step up. And I was like, or let a step off, kind of. I was like, someone give this guy a Hall of Fame jacket for real. Like, like he's a safety. Devin McCourty has 1 or 2 big plays against him every year. He has a big deep pass and some run where he took a bad angle. And that those usually happen at the beginning of the year. He's gone to 5 Super Bowls, and like it's amazing that he doesn't get graded out higher consistently by a PFF. That he's not recognized as just being completely sure. Like you're completely assured of what he's going to do. He, like I don't need him to make big plays. I don't need the other. I need the other team to not score. I need the other team to not get a big play. I don't need you to get a big play. You're the safety. You're here to prevent the big play. Devin as good at the fundamental and traditional responsibilities of the free safety position as any player in football. Every like when you start getting into this, Jamal Adams is a definitely a Pro Bowler. Jamal Adams is an undersized linebacker that hasn't done anything with it. I mean, he's not a shadow of, oh man, I just blanked on his name. The strong safety from Legion of Boom, like the Cam Chancellor. He's not half of Cam Chancellor. You 2 first round draft picks for the guy that needs to carry Cam Chancellor's shoulder pads back to the locker room after practice. Nah, that's stupid football to me. Like, listen, people, the Patriots have took you back to a bygone era. This is like, I don't know if everyone's an MCU fan, but this is like WandaVision. It's like, why is everything in black and white? It's like you're like teleported into like a soundless 1920s movie. New England's fully willing to play 1920 through 1960 football with you and see how you handle it. Man's league, son. Like what they did to the Rams, like the Chiefs have been playing better defense, but I mean against who? Like even like when the Ravens have played good defense or something like that, it's like against who? Like you didn't play as good against the Browns as the Patriots. The Patriots look completely poised to beat the living fuck out of everyone that they play right now. And like and like how many years is it going to take you to get as physical as they are while they have a quarterback on a rookie contract? Like the way that they're built, let's say they need to replace their left guard. Go use your 1st round pick on a left guard. You didn't trade 3 first round picks to go get a quarterback that's not one of the guys. You didn't build your team so shitty that even if you have one of the guys, listen, I'll give you an example. Like Derek Carr. I think Derek Carr kind of resembles the type of guy that I think could be a Super Bowl winning quarterback, but I don't think their team has ever once one season been built in a way to go win the Super Bowl. Not even this year. Not even when they were better with Gruden. And I don't think he has much of a future there. Kind of no matter what they do, no matter who they hire for a coach. Um, I'd like to see. I'd like to see Carr maybe get replaced, like illegitimately. Kind of like a Kaepernick over Alex Smith type of thing. And I'd like to see him leave and maybe go to wind up on like the Steelers or something like that uh, on a good deal, and then maybe go win a Super Bowl with the Steelers over the next 3, 4, 5 years or something like that. But he's not good. I don't know if that happens, but he's not going to do anything on the Raiders because the Raiders aren't going to do anything. Like, and you could say that for Josh Allen. Maybe a lot of people believe in Josh Allen. I don't. I don't necessarily believe in the coach. I think on the era of like, are you going to help a team with penalty calls? I'd more say for what little calls there were in that game, the Bills got the extra calls. The Bills got some favor in that game. And honestly, I think the refs kind of handicap kind of the beginning of a football game, the momentum. I don't think they are out there to like kill some team's hope or like there's a few weeks ago or something. I forget what the example was. I think it was Browns. Is Browns or Bengals or someone versus the Ravens, I believe. And they like I saw them kind of help the other team, and then there was an interception by the Ravens like right after that. And I was like, and then they start flagging the team that they've kind of been helping with bullshit calls. They kind of like have to flag that team to like, oh well, we were helping you to control momentum, but then the whole game swung when Lamar threw an interception. So they start throwing bullshit penalties at the team that they were throwing bullshit penalties against the Ravens for, like kind of visually. And it's like, ugh. Like, so like the Bills don't got it. And like, are you going to be physical enough in 2 years? You're going to get tell them like, hey, next year, like, hey, we remember, are they going to just go train in Russia and just be like, Ivan Drago, like you're just gonna be like locked in on your enemy. Like there's Super Bowls, the Patriots. Like I think the Chiefs have been halfway in a Super Bowl hangover. Like I think it's a weird fucking thing. Like I'm not saying this is in Patrick Mahomes' head, but if you're Patrick Mahomes, do you think a quarterback in the league is able to do a single goddamn thing that you can't do? No, you don't. No, you don't. So do you think that you're the most talented quarterback in the league? Probably. So Tom Brady just beat you in the Super Bowl, and he's like older than you significantly. He's almost twice your age, and you couldn't beat him. And he's still here, and he's outplaying you this year, and you're coming in. They're trying to make you more of a quarterback and put more of the old school traditional quarterbacking. Just take what they give you, read the defense, throw underneath, don't be a superhero every play. And in 2019, he was really good at that. And I think they're trying to do it with him this season, and he's not been very good at it. He doesn't look natural. He doesn't look like he's in very good rhythm. I think Tyreek Hill is probably the MVP of the Chiefs right now. I think he's their most consistent player. I think they don't do enough to get him the ball. I think, I know he's undersized, but like, I don't see him take a lot of hits. Like if I were the Chiefs, I'd give him 2 carries a game every single game, 3 carries a game. Like Tyreek Hill would get the ball 18 times a game, and I'd kind of, I don't know, distract Kelsey by kind of getting him started early and making him think that he's the star and the number one. But I hear him say on TV he's the number one. The juice is like Hill. Like Hill's what a big play by Hill and stuff. I think changes how the whole team reacts. And in general, the whole AFC needs to like nut up. It's like nut up time, and they don't have it. They're a bunch of throw around the yard. It's backyard football, and New England's playing like like the longest yard. Like New England's playing like prison yard football with you, and you're playing backyard football with them. And it's I called it before the Rams game, and 2018. That's just like you have a veteran championed team that's smarter than you player for player. They're way better coached. They're like you have to go to the Chiefs, you have to go to the Buccaneers. Those are the only 2 teams in football. Let's see here. Eagles maybe. There's not very many remnants of any Super Bowl roster that's more Super Bowl experienced than the Patriots. I mean, you had to put 10 Super Bowls by Tom Brady and the fact that basically every player on the Bucks has a Super Bowl ring together. Like you have to go to the Chiefs from the year before, like the Eagles. Like you have to look at teams that have won more recent Super Bowls where they've won one recent Super Bowl. Like you don't have 4 players on the Buccaneers. Well, Let me see. Let me catch myself. You have with Gronk, Brady, um, Antonio Brown, and Jason Pierre-Paul. Off the top of my head, you have four players that have been to a collective, or I mean, been to at least three Super Bowls each. Like AB's been to a Steelers Super Bowl, I think. I mean, I think he was already a Super Bowl winner. I could be wrong. I think he won one in 2008. But you know, the Chiefs don't have. I mean, Tooney, the Chiefs don't have like multiple Super Bowl winners on the roster. The Patriots still have four or five guys that have been to four or five Super Bowls. And technically, I mean, I'll just tell you, like I think Hightower, McCourty, Slater, like they should all be Hall of Famers. Like even like Shaq Mason. Shaq Mason's been playing in Super Bowls. There's a lot of these guys. Trent Brown's played in a Super Bowl. Uh, I don't know. The Patriots are bigger than you. They're meaner than you. I mean, like you don't. You're not smart enough, and you're not mean enough to play the Patriots. I don't think there is a team. I think they could beat every team in football. I think the very best team in football right now today is the Patriots. The Bills are done. I'm going to wrap this up. This is a little shorter, but listen, like I'm hitting you with hindsight early. Like if the Patriots win the Super Bowl this year, they're repeating because they're probably who's winning the Super Bowl next year because every team that's going to add on to what they're already doing is dumb. Uh, and those who rebuild to counter the Patriots and like the Titans are really just like one other really good running back away from like you weren't able to stop them either. Like the AFC has maybe the Colts, maybe the Titans, and then you have the Patriots. Like the Patriots are smarter than every team in football. They're more physical than every team in football, and they're the best team in the AFC. I'll take my odds in the games where they show up against NFC teams. Like the Cowboys, Cowboys got us. The Buccaneers got us. The Titans got us. Like teams have got us this year, but it was before it was put together. This isn't 2019 where it was taking your lunch money and like, riding off on your bike with it. Like the 2019 Boogeymen were riding away on your bike like in the first 5 minutes of the first game of football, the first 6, 7 games of the season, they had more touchdowns on defense than they had allowed on offense. Or maybe it was 4 or 5 games that they did that. It was unruly. Like this year's, but you know what? The last 6, 7 games, it came apart. It was apart at the beginning in 2021, and it came together. And looks like it's going to be together for the rest of the year. Without an injury to Judon, a critical player on offense like Mac Jones. Unless you lose Mac Jones, J.C. Jackson, Judon, I just feel like you have Hightower, Van Noy, Bentley, Judon, Jamie Collins. You have like on special teams. Our special teams is ridiculous. We have the long snapper that's the fastest snap to hand time recorded in NFL history. We have the best kicker in football right now. We may have the best punter in football. He had a doozy yesterday. But you have Matthew Slater, who should be a first ballot Hall of Famer. Like if someone like got sneaky and started talking about Matthew Slater, you're gonna say in the era he played in, he had the most all pros for the position he played. He had the most Pro Bowls for the position he played. He went to the most Super Bowls of any position that played his position. He went to more Super Bowls than basically every single player in the era that he played with. The only players in his era that went to more Super Bowls played on his same team. He was the vocal captain of the best team in the era of football in which he played and is a 3-time Super Bowl champion. He's the son of a Hall of Famer who went to 12 straight Pro Bowls. I think is the statistic. Is it 12 straight? Jackie Slater? I mean, if someone like didn't tell you who Matthew Slater was, and then they just started explaining to you his role within the NFL in the era in which he played, you would laugh that someone's asking you if he's a Hall of Famer. But if you say it's Matthew Slater and they're like, who? And you start listing off his awards, they're like, what? Who is this? They're like, and then they're like, oh, special teamer? No, he's not a Hall of Famer. Like right now, and then you have King on special teams. You have Brandon Browner. I liked Brandon Browner for the year we had him. You have Brandon Bolden on special teams. You have I just blanked on his name. 29 on special teams. 29. I'm blanking on his name. He's who has the other most All Pro and Pro Bowl awards at the position that Matthew Slater plays. So like the person that was his like Peyton Manning to his Tom Brady is now on his team and plays across the field from him. The Patriots have the best special teams in football. I don't think it's fucking close. Their wide receivers block better than yours. Their line blocks better than yours. Their quarterback's most likely smarter than yours. Their coaching staff's better. It's a wrap, people. It's a wrap. It's a wrap. Without injuries, they're going to have the 1 seed. They're not going to let it go. They're going to go to the Super Bowl because someone's going to knock off the Chiefs, and they're going to have to beat someone that they're very, 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 very aligned with beating, like the Bills or the Titans. Like I don't think a healthy Titans gets them at this point in the season or in the playoffs. I don't think the Titans come into Foxborough in an AFC title game and do jack. I don't think the Baltimore Ravens are going to do anything in the playoffs. I don't think the Bills are going to do anything in the playoffs. I don't think the Steelers can really, if they get there, who the hell cares? Chiefs could. Chiefs either have to become the 2020 Chiefs really quick or at the right time, or if they have to become the 2019 Chiefs and start building it up. But the 2019 Chiefs, Patrick Mahomes wasn't throwing an interception every single game. He wasn't going 15 for 29. Yeah, that's right. I can remember that off the top of my head because he's not playing well. What was that, 188 yards, a rushing touchdown, an interception, 15 for 29? Or did he have an interception? But he's not playing very well. And if you want to play traditional fundamentals and play that kind of football and play defense and play some time of possession and get ready for the playoffs, if you're trying to do that, if you're Andy Reid, he's not executing that very well. You're winning games right now, but that's not New England. This isn't the New England that you were finally better than. This isn't the New England team that the Chiefs finally got better than. That's like the same team that the Bills finally got better than. It's not this team, and I don't see the answer in the league. Like, I don't think the Cardinals are too star-studded for the Patriots. I trust Mac Jones in a championship game more than I do Kyler Murray. And I mean, like, did Kyler Murray win a national championship? Did he go to Oklahoma? Did they win one with him? You know, how did he win it? Like, and again, even let's say he did. I don't think he did, but like I'm gonna just give him the same credit as if he did. Stylistically, how they play football with him, I I I would do until I didn't have to. Like Kyler, maybe who I would have used to build a winning football program, but I would always have a backup that played football the way I wanted the quarterback position to play it. I would always I would you know I would always have that in the you know up the sleeve, if you will. I don't think the Cardinals. Rodgers is special. The Packers are historic. I'm not saying that this team is historic, but I in general believe in their overall franchise and decision making. I think they have good depth. I think they have. I think they play smart. I think Rodgers helps a team play really smart. Um, I don't see it. I don't see the team in the AFC. Like Lamar Jackson may not make it out of a game against New England in the playoffs. Like Baker Mayfield barely survived. Um, you know, Josh Allen, they didn't pass a lot even with Josh Allen. It's not like New England can't cover you. You know, better footing, less win, different game plan 4 weeks from now, 3 weeks from now. Like Josh Allen may not survive that because here's the thing: are the Bills on a bye now? Like the Bills, they're not going to fix it. They can't fix it. So like I'm not suggesting they give up. At a certain point, like you play hard, but playing as hard as you can, and like the Bills and the Patriots played as hard as they can. But if the Bills had played as hard as they could, the way the Patriots played as hard as they could, they still would have done better. Like I know the runs got simple towards the end of the game, but they were blowing up Ramondre in the backfield for losses of 3 and 4 yards. They only had to have done that like 3 times before the fourth quarter at the right time in the game on a run play when they ran 29 straight times. They only had to do it like one time opportunistically, drop the Patriots for a loss in the third quarter. Like they were just a couple decisions. If you think about it, they make the field goal and they've gone for two. They're in a different position. I don't. They didn't do what they needed to win. The Bills are over. You're going to be watching the headstone of Josh Allen play for the next 10 years. Like they're not going to do anything with it. It's the Patriots division again. It's the Patriots conference again. Like it's like imagine if Patrick Mahomes gets sat down by a Patriots team that's been reloaded, more efficiently built, has more depth, is clearly better coached, and their quarterback outplayed you. Like if you're Matt Ryan, I said it before, if you're Matt Ryan and you know, didn't the Falcons like just beat the Niners or something like that? I don't know. But it's like think about this, like you're Matt Ryan, you go to a Super Bowl. Tom Brady beats you in 23 minutes of football. Uh, you go play the Niners, and your team can't beat the Jimmy Garoppolo Niners, and then you play the Mac Jones Patriots, and you lose 25-0. 25 points was the gap in 28-3. I'm not saying they're all connected. I'm not looking for Kaiser Soze, here, but like if the Christmas tree were invisible, you don't have to put Christmas decorations on the Christmas tree. If it were an invisible Christmas tree and you start going, I'm going to hang this pizza here, I'm going to hang this pencil here, I'm going to put this raffle ticket here, I'm going to put this cup, I'm going to put this cup placeholder, right, coaster, I'm going to put this coaster here, and you're going to take a book and you're going to put the book here. Well, all of a sudden, whether you put Christmas decorations on the tree or not, you're going to see what shape it is. You're going to see, they're like, is there a Christmas tree under there? Like, if you're some of these quarterbacks, if you're like if Patrick Mahomes spent Super Bowl week leading up to the Super Bowl against Tom Brady going like, dude, I fucking got this guy. They're like, they can't fucking beat me. They can't do anything. Like, I'm going to bring this shit home. And then he went to the podium. It's like, they're a great team. He's obviously one of the greatest players ever, but we're confident in ourselves, and he didn't really reveal maybe that he had like, I'm not saying he did this, but imagine if like Patrick Mahomes was overly cocky going into that Super Bowl, which he seems to be a pretty humble guy. So I don't really see this. I'm just kind of putting it out there. Like, you're going to win. Someone that's 20 years older than you, like, sits your fucking team down. If you come into this year and the Patriots go to the Super Bowl and you kind of played like a shell of yourself, where's your confidence for 2022? Like, why would the Bills think they're going to draft the best three defensive rookies next year or anything? Like, what are the Bills going to do to get better? You know, you would have to, like, you're not going to trade Stephon Diggs. Like, you're not going to trade Josh Allen and completely blow it up. You could. You could trade Josh Allen to the man. Who could you trade Josh Allen to? A lot of teams. A lot of teams. Uh, you could probably get picks and Tannehill. You could probably get picks from the Steelers. There's a lot of teams, like NFC teams. I don't really know. To be honest with you, it is my lifelong experience. The NFC teams, a lot of times, are just not as physical as AFC teams. If someone really wants to go back and go like and like look over the last like even 25 years, you know, who are you thinking about physical over the last 25 years? May put the Buccaneers in there. You put another NFC team in there for like an all-time team. You really look at like who's gone to a lot of the Super Bowls. The last 20 years is almost exclusively Tom Brady, Peyton Manning, and Ben Roethlisberger out of the AFC. You have a Trent Dilfer. You have a Joe Flacco. You have a Patrick Mahomes. That's it. Like that. That's it. That. I mean, like that's all I can think of. It's or yeah, yeah. It's the NFL needs to figure out what the Patriots are doing. They've taken you back to the 40s, and you don't know how to hunt in the woods. I mean, like this is like they're like the preppers. New England is that crazy person out in the woods that's filtering his pee into water, that is canning everything, that's pickling salted possum that they trapped with a snare. Like they're wearing you know they're wearing like leaf diapers and like I mean like they're like you know they're just like they're like a prepper, and then if the world is like actually reverted into like an apocalyptic no electricity, and it's like, well, you should have had solar panels, well, you should have had a generator. You know, New England hasn't just prepared to play this type of football, they're forcing it upon you. Like I think there's a line in uh Lord of the Rings. He's like, I would not risk open war. It's like war's upon you. Like you are in this match. You can't be like the Chiefs would have to do something to this defense that no one has done to this defense yet. And honestly, no one for the rest of the way out is capable of doing it to this defense because honestly, I don't think the Bills can come back and get revenge. I get teams are going to pass, but like, watch the, like I say that you're going to be looking at the headstone. If I'm somehow wrong, the Bills go to a Super Bowl, win a Super Bowl or something, I'll go, oh, okay, that's more than what I thought. But like I've said it, Mac Jones is likely to be looking at a 4 or 5 touchdown game sometime this season. Uh, I believe on the basis that he is one, very capable of it. Their offensive weapons are very capable of it. And they may need it one game. Imagine the Bills want to take you to a boat race next time they play, and you lose in a shootout against Mac Jones throwing 45 times in 4 or 5 touchdowns and throwing for 360 yards on like 19 for 24, 4 touchdowns, 350 yards. Mac Jones does something to you like that 3 weeks from now. You know, it's good night over, and that's all she wrote. Like that's it. Like the Bills can't hang with these Patriots. Even if they beat them the next time, I don't think the Patriots necessarily are going to lose the 1 seed because I don't necessarily think the other 3 division winners are going to win out. And they, you know, I think the game that the Patriots are most likely to lose is the Bills, but we'll see. All those people that thought it was easy money to go bet the Bills or bet that spread 2.5 points, 14-10. And honestly, the Patriots have a better quarterback than the Bills. Mac Jones, I'm telling you right now today, he's a better quarterback than Josh Allen. Not what people want to say, because honestly, if every fan in the entire world understood this, you're either one of the best 5 coach teams and you're building a roster very well, or you have one of the top 3 to 5 quarterbacks, or some combination of that. But you get lucky one year. You're the Eagles with Nick Foles. You were really good one year and you did it. You loaded it up and you did it. Or you have to have one of the best 5 quarterbacks or one of the best 5 coaches, or you're not even anywhere close to the Super Bowl. You're not anywhere close. And here's the thing. Top 5 coaches, let's really look at this. Belichick, right? You have Bill Belichick. They putting Andy Reid in the top 5. You putting John Harbaugh in the top 5. I have a hard time right now keeping John Harbaugh out of the top 3 because I think what he has to do with Lamar Jackson is more difficult. And I think it's a clear adjustment from what you were doing with Flacco. So you're clearly coaching winning football with 2 complete different styles of play. So that's pretty impressive to me. Mike Tomlin, I mean, are you serious? Like, or is your top 5 Kyle Shanahan, Sean McVay, LaFleur? Like, are those guys in your top 5? I will note that 2 of those coaches have coached their team to a Super Bowl. The other one's coached their team to 2 NFC title games. But all the coaches I just listed off in the AFC all won Super Bowls. So, I mean, you get into like having a top 5 coach, there's a chance that the NFC doesn't even have a top 5 coach. And they'll probably give it to like Cliff Kingsbury or something like this, who's one of those guys who's having a hard time getting his team up to the line and making like timing coaching mistakes, in my opinion, play calling mistakes. And you know what? I don't know if they self-scout coaching and coach coaching at the Cardinals like they do in New England. Listen, people. Every team in football needs to go find the smartest fucking person they can find to add to their football franchise. You need to add like hand-to-hand combat coaches. You need to have you like, why wouldn't you have a balance coach? Why wouldn't you have a yoga instructor? Like, why wouldn't you have hired auxiliary resource instructors and trainers? They'll be like, maybe they're not coach. Maybe the hand-to-hand trainer is a trainer, and he's not, more like the strength coach and not so much like the offensive line coach. Teams need to get wildly smarter. You haven't even caught up to Bill Belichick, and I would suggest that you need to take some sort of fucking leap past him to be the most consistently abled franchise to go win a Super Bowl. Like, let's say you got as smart as him. How? He's the goddamn living history of the football league. Like, the history he's not alive for, he understands, and he's been alive and coaching in it the rest of it. It's the continuity. You're not going to catch the continuity. You're not going to catch the experience. You have to take a massive fucking leap in intelligence for your football team, or you're just the Bills. You're just going to get good enough to think you're able to win the Super Bowl, and then that may either be true or it may not be true. But the Patriots don't exceed or let down expectation. They have less penalties than you. They have better technique than you. They play with traditional roles that their positions have always had. Their scheme is versatile. You have every aspect of everything in their scheme. Their offensive coordinator is probably smarter than your head coach. Their defensive minds that, like, I'm not saying that a lot of teams don't have great defensive minds, but like Steven Belichick, Mayo, Matt Patricia, like, listen, like for years, Dante Scarnecchia. Like Dante Scarnecchia is borderline a Hall of Fame assistant coach. I mean, it's they're so much more intelligent. Like Ernie Adams, no one else had Ernie Adams. You guys are bringing in analysts from baseball. You guys are bringing in mathematics majors and all sorts of people, and you still don't have Ernie Adams. You know what Ernie Adams sits there and does? He watches film and he says, "This guy can't fucking block, and if we fucking do this, he can't do anything about it." That's his fucking MIT degree. I'm not saying he's not a diplomaed person. I believe he was an attorney, but it's you don't actually need a genius to figure some of this stuff out, but you need to take a massive leap past Bill Belichick, or you like. I don't think you can get to him. You have to figure out how to get past him, and like I don't know. It's very interesting. I think it's over. Uh, Super Bowl champions this year. I'm listen. I'm not necessarily even allowed to sports bet in the state that I live in, and there are loopholes around that. And like I'm ready to go put money on the Patriots because the without injuries, if someone beats the Patriots in the playoffs or the Super Bowl, I won't say that they happen to have, but they didn't show the consistency unless the Patriots become inconsistent, unless the Patriots drop their last three games or start fumbling the ball by the running backs and start jumping off sides a whole lot. If they start playing like the Cowboys or start playing like the Cleveland Browns or something, yeah, I'm not there. I wouldn't clear cut say they're going to win the Super Bowl. But like I saw this in 2001, halfway through 2001 as a kid, I'm like, well, they're the best team in football. They're going to win the Super Bowl. Like, you know, like, and I knew the Rams were going to win the Super Bowl 2 years before that. It was clear that the Rams were the best team in football and were going to win. Like 2014, once I saw what Browner and Revis were doing on the defense when they got more, the defensive tackle that's amazing on the Chicago Bears, he was up with Will Fork in 2014. Like we got back to stopping the run, and we had Browner and Revis. And like I knew halfway through 2014 that we were going to win a Super Bowl. 16 points before tying the game against the Falcons, I was like, the Patriots are going to win this game. I think Lady Gaga switched her outfit, went to white shoulder pads, and sang "I'm on the verge of glory." I'm on the edge of glory. I'm hanging on a moment with you, and it's like the Patriots are going to win this football game. Like I just knew. I just knew. And like last night, I'll give you this. There's a point in last night's game I was like, part of me feels like at half I'm like the game's already over because the Bills may not get as many first downs in the rest of the game as they need points. I'm like the game's over. But also there was such a deliberate, clear message that was kind of being evident throughout the whole game. And I don't think that he was afraid to throw with Mac Jones. I just think he said that I was going to only run the football. And it kind of reminded me of the 4th-and-2 game against Peyton Manning. And I was like, if you lose this game, you committed to basically never throwing the football again. And if you lose, it will be a loss in this style. I was comfortable with it. And that 4th-and-2, I think, oh no. I loved that running back. I forget what his name is off the top of my head. But like I think he got it on that 4th-and-2. The Patriots, no one's beaten them this year. Like the the Colts, they're gonna sit the Colts down. They're gonna probably sit the Bills down again. And then it's like people that don't know right now, unless the Patriots have some wild fluker, some stinker that's completely inconsistent with what you've seen over the last 7 games. Because listen, there isn't one game over the last 7 games where you're like, well, that was wildly inconsistent. What, they gave up 200 yards or something rushing? I mean, the game was close, but they never gave up control. The Patriots have not lost control of a football game for like a second. They just have a slow choke the life out of their opponent each and every week. I don't think a high flyer in a dome I don't think the Chiefs in the dome, I don't think the Bucks in the dome right now are going to beat these Patriots. I think you're looking at your Super Bowl champions this year with a rookie quarterback. He wins the national championship, goes into the NFL, wins the NFL Super Bowl champion, and then everything that they were just trying to hand to Patrick Mahomes honestly should be more realistically be talked about with Mac Jones. Like Mac Jones, like we're comparing him to Tom Brady. He's the most accurate rookie ever playing in New England for the team that coached Bill Belichick with a lot of players that played with Tom Brady. If he wins the Super Bowl as a rookie, he's making an early statement that he's going to wind up being the best quarterback who has ever played. You know, I watch Get Up or whatever it is with Nick Wright, and they have a Patriots fan on there, and I'm blanking on his name because he's really the clown of the show and not a really serious analyst. He's just kind of like the comedic relief of the show, the Patriots fan. So it's not my favorite Patriots talk, but he calls him the baby goat. It's called the kid. And when the kid grows up, he becomes the goat. There may have been goats before this goat, but when the kid becomes the goat, it's a goat. Like Patrick or Mac Jones is potentially showing you that he's going to be the best quarterback to have ever played football. I think he's showing you that he's the most talented rookie quarterback who's ever played. This run fast, throw far talent isn't talent. If the results aren't what I want, the talent is for naught and therefore irrelevant and not the talent you need. The intangibles that people want to say are intangibles, like that guy runs fast and Tom Brady's brain outruns every player in football. The fastest player in football is Tom Brady. Quit giving me this guy runs fast as talent shit. Like I don't fucking care. Patriots, you're Super Bowl champions this year. Like I'll change my tune on that if they have injuries or the wheels fall off because they have 5 inside guys that can stop your run. They have linebackers that can stop your run. They can cover you. They can turn the ball over, and they're smarter than you. They have the best defense in football. They have the smartest quarterback besides Brady and Rodgers, most likely. I mean, this is over. This is the next 5 years is gonna suck for teams that aren't Patriots fans. And that's all I have to really say about this.